All right, whiskey G, y'all. Welcome back, brothers. This is gonna be my little continuation, my little news report. It's actually not gonna pertain to too much. What do you call it? Relevant news. I'm not gonna sit here and watch um, mainstream news broadcasts and go with that. I'm not. Politics don't really interest me like that, and honestly, I don't. I'm not quite equipped to speak on it. I don't stir in politics. They don't necessarily interest me nor concern me. I don't concern myself with them, and they don't play a direct factor in my life. So, yeah, this one is gonna be on the topic of where's the Black Lives Matter movement. You know what I mean? Where is that gone to? You know what I'm saying? There ain't People ain't out protesting like they used to, unless a brother's shot and killed. You know what I mean, by the police. And other than that, it's a dormant movement. There's pretty much little to no activity going on with that group. You know what I mean? There's no progress being done, and that goes to show you that it's pointless. You know what I mean? This is, again, we got to understand, brothers, that this is a spiritual battle. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to win this by force or per se, and maybe even in this physical realm. You know what I mean? Um, However, you got to, you know what I mean, equip yourself mentally, you know what I mean, and kindle your soul and your heart to burn with the spirit of the Most High primarily, first and foremost, but then also, you know what I mean, you gotta know how to handle yourself accordingly. You know what I'm saying? You gotta hold yourself accountable for your actions. You know what I mean? At all times, and in the presence of any nation, in the presence of anybody. Period. You know what I mean? The black man, the so-called black man here in America, has an issue and is has a lot of trials and tribulations with the an effect of getting the respect of other people, primarily because we lack culture, and essentially they have no identity. You know what I'm saying? And trying to latch on to things, don't really know what. That's it. That's what it boils down to a lot of times, is identity issues. You feel me? You may not agree with it. You don't have to. It's the truth, though. Um, However, I got this segment brought up with like the young Lil Wayne. Young. He's not really young. With Lil Wayne here on the Black Lives Movement. It's a couple years old, almost coming up from the fall of 2016. But I'm gonna let it ride out, chime in, shed some light on just the topic. I think I watched just a little, like, 30-second clip of it, and I seen some things that made this a good backdrop for this conversation piece. I'm trying to keep this one lighter, a little shorter, within like the under 30 minutes, but I'm not keeping no boundaries. I got the time.
Give interviews, but Nightline's no ordinary broadcast. Our controversial encounter with the rapper is already getting major attention on Twitter. Here's ABC's Lindsay Davis.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lil Wayne.
He's a rapper whose lifestyle has all the trappings of a bona fide rock star.
All the trappings of a bona fide rock star. I don't know what that really means. I'm not trying to overanalyze it. I just thought it was interesting of her word choice. I mean, any brothers is out there in the know, you know that Lil Wayne is part of satanic, Luciferian type affiliates. I think if we're gonna put a name on it, we would say he's more than likely part of the Boule, allegedly. I'm gonna get a lot of the way I speak and address things from my brother over at the Chronicles of Judah 144. Go subscribe, show some love. Brothers dropping knowledge on pretty much a daily basis. Great archive of videos addressing a wide range of great topics. I actually got them linked in the cards on this video. I don't know where the cards at, where you find them. If you're familiar, brothers, you can go ahead and tap in. I know I plugged it though. And if you look at my subscriptions, I'm subscribed to him. He's a knowledgeable brother, dropping wisdom. But you know, rockstar lifestyle, all that stuff is more than likely, not more than likely, it does pay homage to the Baphomet and, you know, just Luciferian and satanic ass beliefs. Believe it or not, you know what I mean? You don't have to. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. There's no such thing as a coincidence, but see, just this is what I was gonna address. Check how some of these people virtually worship, you know, this man, this human being that breathe the same air they do, and worship him. And you know what I'm saying? That's where the young generation and in particular the so-called black man, we get caught up in idolizing other so-called black men or just people in general. You know what I mean? Looking up to a so-called white man and idolizing their beliefs, what they've done, or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? You should be able to acknowledge and respect one's greatness. You feel me? But when it comes to worshiping, you know what I mean? And you know, brothers may take that out of context. You do what you want with my words, but when you begin to kind of put them up on an altar and look at them in heavy regard in terms, for the, you know, in layman's terms, higher than the Most High, then you got the game messed up. You know what I'm saying? You're definitely on a wicked path. But just watch how these young people react to this human being.
Marry him. He's my idol.
He's my idol. He's my idol. Seriously. You know what I mean? That's a lost young soul right there. That so-called young white man.
I'm gonna marry him.
You know what I'm saying? Women are inherently wicked. They're agents of chaos. Brothers, you got to understand that. When you're dealing with these women, you got to be very diligent in choosing who you choose to lay with. You know what I mean? My brother over Chronicles, he said, go ahead and interview these broads. That's what he said. And that it comes down to that. You really got to know who you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? But most brothers don't even know themselves. So how you supposed to understand something when you don't even have knowledge of oneself?
My idol. Yo, Wade changed my life with his view.
I mean, she's crying. But I'll get on women a little later. I'm not trying to make this about that.
Over the past 3 years, Nightline has been granted rare access to the reclusive hip-hop icon, Lil Wayne.
I'm a slave for your ear.
I'm a slave for your ear. Okay.
Die to make what.
And I'm pretty sure it's on record of him mentioning a lot of outright, you know what I mean, like admissions to his rituals or his possible beliefs allegedly. However, I know there's a lot of elusive lyrics and things mixed in with phonetics to go ahead and convey, the agenda of his keepers, his bondmen.
You hear great.
Lil Wayne has been making music for nearly 25 years with hits like Lollipop.
Again, publicizing fellatio, publicizing, I wouldn't say fornication, but just overall the perverse nature of the state of society and shit. It's all plays into their agenda. That's why I got all these young brothers and sisters out here being so promiscuous and frivolent with their genitals, and it's terrible. You know what I'm saying? And we're at a point of despair.
A mogul
But,
discovered.
you don't have to take my words for it. You know what I mean? It plays out right here in your face. These three individuals right here, highly coveted in the so-called black community. Like, anytime their music come out, you know what I'm saying? You end up knowing, like, I'm guilty as charged sometimes as well. Not so much in this time. Really been focusing on just expanding my horizons, expanding my mindset, my knowledge base to thoroughly educate brothers as I come across them, and just to have more knowledge and wisdom to kick in these videos. You heard? I'm not out here to lead you astray. I'm not out here to lead you. You know what I'm saying? In any way, shape, or form, other than back to the Most High. That's where I'm here to lead brothers. You know what I'm saying? But you don't have to take heed to my words. Study the scriptures yourself. Just take a few steps back and look what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got time to listen to my video, you got time to take a few steps back and take heed of what I'm saying, and look at it from your own perspective and see if there's any truth to the shit I'm saying. Because you come to realize there's a lot. Because I'm not out here to lead you astray. I got no reason to lie. Lying is not keeping it 100 with the Most High, and I'm not about wickedness. You feel me? These three are agents of chaos. You feel me? If not monarch individuals. Drake claims to be Jewish yet gets tattoos. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna go off on like an Israelite rant. Brothers, you need to learn your culture. But nonetheless, this imposter synagogue of Satan ass definitely doesn't convey his beliefs in action in the physical world, which is why you got to understand we're dealing with a spiritual battle, spiritual warfare going on. And that's what got all you brothers in this extra ass belief system, this super pro black stuff and all that other. Like, I'm not pro black. I'm pro culture. I'm pro Most High. You know what I'm saying? I'm pro law, statutes, and commandments. Yes, I have tattoos, but I'm on my road to repentance. I will not have the needle touch my flesh again. You know what I'm saying? I was not supposed to print marks on my body, and people get crossed. Like Lil Wayne got this cross, and you can see God. I don't know what else is accompanied with that, but you know what I'm saying? If you notice, I don't use the term God. I use the term the Most High, or Ahaya, Ashar, Ahaya, which I've come to pronounce in Hebrew. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, brothers, on my pronunciation, but to me, it's closer to what I hold to be the true name of the Most High, and also I feel it's more respectful than God. God, 3-letter word. How you sum up the Most High in a 3-letter word? I feel that's outright disrespectful. Not to mention it's dog backwards. I don't know if that's a little clever, so-called, white way of looking at it. You feel me? Man's best friend, if they want to be clever in that nature. But I don't know. I would never like the term God, and I now know why. Nonetheless, you know what I mean? Drake will drop an album. Brothers know his lyrics off the rip. Always topic of conversation. You want to go back and forth about, oh, how come Drake didn't come back and Pusha T and all this other bullshit? Like, man, you got a diluted mindset. You're paying too much attention to the distractions within this world, opposed to the world and how things are unfolding right in front of your eyes. And you're so deluded and distracted, docile. And that's right where they want you, brothers. Right where they want you. So you can continue to be slaves to this system.
covering megastars like Nicki Minaj and Drake. Lil Wayne, born Dwayne.
Point. I'm just using this as a backdrop to get my message out. You heard? I'm not, and it's not for like selfish monetary reasons. I'm not looking to make no major YouTube career and be a paid YouTuber and all those things. That's not the goal here. My goal is to awaken my brothers here and restore order and balance in the so-called black community, because we won't have none. Period.
Jane Carter was first discovered by New Orleans rapper Birdman, who quickly,
you know what I mean? Like, everybody know Birdman's mischievous and homosexual tendencies. Had the little boy kissing him on the mouth and shit. That's, you know what I mean? We all know that ain't right. And there was a lot of funny shit. BG done alluded to things. You know what I mean? I don't know where Juvenile stand. For all we know, BG thing didn't kick off because he wasn't with that. But, you know, when you make it to the upper echelon, the high elite of the music industry, you don't get there without, you know what I'm saying, bending over, subjecting yourself to demasculine activities and things of that nature. Like, come on, it's not happening. They're not gonna give you a platform unless you serving their purpose, period. Whether that's promoting drugs and shit, and gangs and violence, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You gotta fit their agenda. These brothers ain't self-made. Come on. They may have been up into some point, but when you're at the point of making hundreds of millions of dollars, you're not gonna get that type of clout, that type of play, in terms of dealing with their monies, if you haven't, you know what I'm saying, agreed upon some shit, sold your soul, turned completely away from the Most High. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get into some MK Ultra stuff that I observe. I'm not gonna try and tap on things I've already seen brothers tap on, or people have tapped on, unless I see it. I'm definitely gonna see it from a different light, but that's simply because I am who I am. Nonetheless, you don't get that high in the music industry unless you serving them. Facts.
He signed him to his record label, Cash Money.
After you back it up, then stop, then drop it like it's hot.
Wayne's first taste of mainstream success came and calculating, yet raw and explicit.
I know how difficult it was to watch us come up with our pants sagging and our shirts all big and bandanas on and rapping street things and talking about guns. And every verse was about how I would run in your house and tie your parents up or something like that. And I sold over 1 million records in a heartbeat. It was about lyrics. Mm-hmm. It was just about, it wasn't about what you were talking about, it was about how you was talking.
I'm not sure if he's self-admitting he wasn't really doing a lot of the shit he talked about, or if he's just addressing it.
About it.
What do you say to people who call your music vulgar, misogynistic, offensive, degrading?
No, if that's what you think about the music, if that's what you categorize it under, then so be it. All those things made me who I am, and I am a very successful man. Please keep.
You notice how he kind of defined it as success, and that's another thing. Brothers, don't get caught up in that success shit. You know what I mean? You'll succeed in accordance with the Most High's plan for you. You know what I'm saying? If you're not, you know what I mean, to a degree, I'm sure, you know what I mean, there's brothers out there chasing that money, but they're doing wicked things to get that money. You know what I mean? And that's another thing. You base that success off of monetary wealth and things of that nature, and that is definitely the wrong way to go about it, because again, you're idolizing things above the Most High, putting that bag in front of the Most High and shit. You know what I mean? You get up, post on Facebook or your Twitter, whatever, about getting to the bag, flexing your stack, but you know what I mean, And get up and thank the Most High for putting air in your lungs, allowing you to wake up from that slumber. You know what I'm saying? Keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments in order. You feel me? That's successful. That's where you start really seeing success. And I'm not talking about that Christian faith BS, man. You got it, black folk or black brothers, whatever, so-called black men. We got to stray far away from that Christian doctrine, because that is all bad. You know what I'm saying? It was gifted to you by the oppressors. You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of brothers want to discredit the scriptures and say it's all myths made up by white folk. A lot of brothers believe that. I'm guilty as charged. I was a brother that did believe that for a long time. And I've seen some things that correlated stories to the what do you call it? The Egyptian religion or the Kemet religion. You know what I mean? There's a lot of brothers on that Kemet movement stuff, and you brothers are misled. But that's neither here nor there. Nonetheless, they made a lot of correlations. I was like, damn. Well, if it's just like that, then it's just plagiarized and formed to fit white folk. And why should I be accepting this as a so-called black man? And it always made me wonder, because the God that they paint out, the Most High they paint out, is ever forgiving and all these other things, and you know what I'm saying, and they use that God to justify all types of things that go against the scriptures that they try and promote, because they warp the scriptures. That's the thing. That Christian doctrine leaves a lot of leeway for not just mistranslations, which are heavy, but overall just warping. You know what I mean? There's so much. It's untrue. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to be going to church to get the gospel. You feel me? You go directly to the source. You go to the scriptures. And you know what I mean? You also have to have a decent level of understanding to be able to discern where you fall into the scriptures, whatever nationality you are, but primarily for the so-called black man. You have to understand where you fall within the scriptures, and to whom the scriptures are written by and to whom they're written for. Because a lot of these so-called white folks is out here reading the scriptures and they don't know what the hell they talking about. And I've had individuals try and use the scriptures against me, not understanding that the scripture, or ironically, the scriptures they were bringing up, trying to place upon me, actually applied more to themselves. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not on here to battle through YouTube comments, all that other stuff. I don't partake with silly individuals. Period. You know what I mean? Like, I judge accordingly based upon your actions, not based upon your flesh tone, not based upon your belief system. You know what I mean? You come correct, we can have a cordial exchange. I don't necessarily have to deal with you, you know what I mean, in my everyday life and things of that nature. That's, you know what I mean? It's not gonna happen. I got work to do. I got brothers to wake up. I got brothers to enlighten and you know what I mean, bring them back to the light and understand that they are the light, which is why so much damn attention is brought upon us, because we are the light. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not trying to get on no extra gospel speaking, because he ain't even addressed Black Lives Matter movement yet. But yeah, he was just success. You know what I'm saying? You brothers is deluded. You don't succeed without the Most High, and you'll understand that when you get back. But until then, you keep chasing that bag. You keep doing them wicked acts, whatever you got to do to get that bag. You know what I mean? And see where that leads you. Money don't buy you happiness. Money, I don't even want to get on money right now. Say that for a whole nother video.
Keep looking out for more.
Everything is about that monetary exchange in this society too. everything. You know what I mean? You don't really entertain people's time. But they say time is money. All that other bullshit. Like, come on, man. We definitely lost as a so-called community. I'm not sure if that's what we are. I definitely don't see that. But I'm not recently versed on the definition of community. I'm actually compelled.
It's coming, baby.
Yeah, fuck it. Y'all learn with me. A group of people living in the same place or having a particular characteristic in common. Okay. I guess, yeah, for all intents and purposes, we are a community.
So your daughter, would you have any problem with her being called a or a hoe?
Yeah, if they calling her a hoe, I have a huge problem with.
You know what I'm saying? That's very hypocritical of him to say, but then also put it in his lyrics. Like, don't get me wrong, I use a term, but I use a term when it's in accord with the individual's actions, male or female. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? If you're being a bitch, you're a bitch, and you know what I'm saying? I'm not always gonna sit there and outright tell you, but at the same notion, I don't always hold my tongue. But at the same notion, I approach things diligently. I don't walk on eggshells. I'm not fearful. I'm just knowledgeable that you can't always act on impulse or how you think you want to act. You know what I'm saying? You really got to assess things and you know, take heed of what's the consequences of your actions depending on what that impulse may or may not be. But that's neither here nor there. That's where order comes into play.
That, yeah, but I've never called a certain female name out unless I got a real big problem with her. Yeah.
To say this father of four is controversial.
Did he say with her ass or?
Yeah.
To say this father.
Yeah, but I've never called a certain female name out unless I got a real big problem with her. Yeah.
To say this father of four is controversial is an understatement. But the self-described gangster says he's often misunderstood.
That'll be the biggest misconception, that I'm some kind of rude.
Yeah, if you disagree with me, brothers, that's because you hold him in high esteem in terms of his monetary success, if you will. But you know what I mean? That's on you. If you want to be confined to worldly possessions and materialistic views and constructs on how you see life, then I feel sorry for you, brother.
I don't know. When they meet me, they're like, oh, you're so humble or whatever. But I'm from the South. I have to be respectful and everything like that because I have someone to answer to, and that's my mom.
But when...
You feel me? Nah. The person you answer to, not even a person, the entity, the Most High, that's who you answer to. At the end of the day, at the end of this lifespan that we all have individually, that's who you answer to, not your mother. That's him promoting that basically where society's at today, holding the woman figure, the mother figure in high regard. Granted, I respect my mother, I honor my mother, but I don't hold her above the Most High, period. You know what I'm saying? And even my children, like, you know what I'm saying, babies, if you ever see this, it's not within me to hold you higher than the Most High. What I'm doing is for you. That's why I do what I do. I do it for you. But I digress. I can't. You feel me? That's idolizing things and putting them above the Most High. I love my children. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. It hurts me every day for the circumstances at hand to continue. But it is what it is. I have work to do. I have work to be done. I'm working on a career here. I'm not looking to be a debt slave my entire life. I'm looking to get out of Babylon. I need to get out this country. That's the move. I'm not staying here. It's not the place you want to be. Brothers, I encourage you to do the same. And look at this, ridiculous. All this damn gold and shit. And then all you brothers buy into that vanity, sinful vanity.
He doesn't really care what we think about him. He's unapologetic in just about every aspect of his life.
What's your relationship with weed? Every day?
There's God, there's my family, there's my kids, there's music, there's my family.
Weed. Every day?
There's God.
There's God. Nah, there's Baal. Or Boule ass. And Boule is just the black version of Skull and Bones. For you brothers that are in the know about Skull and Bones and their practices and their influence in the world. They're essentially the black, like Diddy comes from that. Your Jay-Z, your 50 Cents. You know what I mean? If they're making multi-million, like hundreds of millions of dollars, they're affiliated with the Boule, if not outright in it. Your Shacks, you know, masonry and all that other bull.
It's my family, it's my kids, it's music and weed.
In that order?
Yeah.
Our journey with Weezy started back in 2013 at his own private skate park he constructed in Miami.
How do you, a self-described gangster, end up being such a prolific skateboarder?
I just fell in love with skating, plain and simple. The thing you love most about it is landing the tricks, landing them and landing them well.
I know brothers going to potentially be in the comments or in their thoughts talking about, you know, well, he's just speaking on his life and this and that. It's just speaking on, like, you know what I mean? There's more aspects than that. You feel me? Just because you think you can rhyme with that and all that and it's relatable. Like, man, there's a lot of things that's relatable. Walking down the damn street, driving a car, like, you know what I mean? You guys idolize and materialize this shit to the point where, you know what I mean, you're envious and jealous. And you want more and more and more. You're greedy as fuck. It's sad.
And being able to say you did that.
A few months later, he invited us to Amsterdam, backstage at a sold-out performance.
What are you thinking about when you're walking on stage?
Usually what's on my mind is just impressing the people. And I'm usually trying to fill the crowd out first.
Let's go! Let's go!
Being on stage for me is everything I ever dreamed of. I'm always at home on stage.
Nowadays, Wayne has been making more headlines than music. Due to an ongoing legal battle, his completed Carter 5 album remains on the shelf, which is why he says he chose now to release a memoir. Gone Till November is a diary that chronicles the 8 months he spent at Rikers Island for an illegal weapon possession.
When you look back at prison, has it been life-changing?
I learned a lot about people. You're all on the same level. You're all going through the same.
Not necessarily, brother. Not everybody in prison's on the same level. In terms of treatment, you know, that could be what he's speaking on, but going through the same thing, nah, that's different. People that go to prison are more than likely there because they're battling demons within themselves. And, you know what I mean? If those demons landed them in prison, those demons are only going to be more cultivated, conjured, honed in to conduct more chaos. Because the prison don't really... the prison system, the prison industrial complex does not rehabilitate. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, brothers. And it's out there. They don't want to eradicate crime. They don't want brothers out here with order because that will get rid of this prison industrial complex. more than likely inciting martial law, detainment camps, all that other extra, sooner than they plan. But you know, it's unfortunate that they know more about us than we know about ourselves and our own culture. Because a lot of brothers don't even know why they believe certain things. Point blank, period. I'm one of them, or was one of them. Sorry. Correction. Not in the unknown. I'm in the know easily. Don't know everything. Not claiming to.
Thing.
Very, just much more understanding of the world we're sharing than the average Joe or the average so-called black man. Period. Easily.
Everybody wants to go home.
But outside of a jail cell, his celebrity...
I mean, and brothers, don't take that offensively neither. If the shoe don't fit, don't wear it. Don't be oversensitive about words and things like that. You know, I'm out here conveying the truth and the culture for you. You feel me? I'm not out here to personally and verbally accost anybody. Period.
His status has clearly shaped his perspective, recently stirring controversy on Fox Sports when he said he personally doesn't see racism because so many of his fans are white.
This was actually incited by my brother Chronicles of Judah video, or Chronicles of Judah 144, my apologies. His video about, I believe it's a P. Diddy on trying to own the Carolina Panthers NFL team, and how Kaepernick quickly chimed in talking about he wants in, all this other things. Like, you got to look at it, brothers. All the owners of NFL teams and NBA teams are billionaires. Sean Combs ain't worth but 800 something million, and that's in total. That's net worth. You know what I mean? And that's another thing brothers don't understand, is net worth is not what they have now, not what they can go and get out multiple bank accounts and have that cash value in hand. That's in total assets. That's accumulative, what they've made, things of that nature. That's not what brothers have at the moment. So, you know what I'm saying? Your idea of wealth is misconstrued. You feel me? And you also placing value in the wrong places. You value in the wrong things, materialistic things. You feel me? When you don't even value your own self-respect and self-righteousness. You have no order.
I thought that was clearly a message that there was no such thing as racism.
There was a lot of backlash.
What? Okay, that was out of context because honestly I wasn't paying attention. I was trying to just get my point across.
He shaped his
perspective. What my videos are going to be about, like it or not. You know what I mean? You don't have to watch them. Simple as that. Nobody telling you to watch, but I got information to expunge. You know what I'm saying? I can't always word it as fluently as my brother over at Chronicles of Judah 144. However, you know, I'm gonna get better at it. I'm gonna continue to verse myself and learn more. I'm always gonna tap into the scriptures and extend my knowledge and my relationship with the Most High. Because again, brothers, it's a spiritual battle. Stop taking to the streets. Stop being ignorant. We're not gonna win this and get that justice in the physical realm. This is a spiritual battle. A lot of you brothers under spells. You realize that Hollywood and all this media bullshit is witchcraft and sorcery. Seriously. You know what I mean? It may seem far-fetched right now, but when you start looking into it, and you know, I can't sit here and lay out every single thing I've exposed myself to have the understanding that, you know, I feel I have to speak on certain topics, but that's how it should be. You know what I'm saying? If I could sit here and tell you everything, that there'd be no point. I mean, not even just that. Like, you shouldn't listen to me if I could tell you everything, Because, you know what I'm saying? If I think that I can tell you everything, that means I don't know a single fucking thing. But I can shed some light on a lot of topics and cite some real critical thinking and a genuinely open-minded black male, so-called black male. One of the terms I want to start using a little more is liberal, because it accurately depicts the mindset of a lot of these so-called white folk and a lot of just about every so-called black male, and even women as well. And it's just being open and to other opinions and things just essentially stray away from traditional values. You feel me? Excuse me. And that coincides with just like the promiscuous nature of the woman now. You know what I mean? They're being publicized and even popularized for wanting more relationships and being able to be free. They want to be just equal to men. And brothers, you got to understand, men and women are not equal. You know, they're for a few reasons. But, you know, there's the scriptures, then there's also just the physical, biological aspect of it. You know what I mean? We cannot reproduce on our own. We cannot carry the child, you know what I mean? So we're not on that level. And I'm not idolizing and putting the woman above, because that's not the order. The order is the Most High, the man of the household, the woman, and the children. Many of you may not agree with that. You don't have to, but it's the truth. And it's the proper order. And when that order is restored in accordance with the scriptures and with what's right and what's wrong, you know what I'm saying? We got solid brothers out here restoring order to the household. That order will reflect within the community, you know what I'm saying? And then we can really begin to start holding ourselves even more accountable and making real moves as a community and progress, you know what I mean? Stop asking for this handout from the so-called white man. You want that damn hug, that what do you call it, felicity or validation. That's the word I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? You're looking for that validation from the so-called white man all the damn time. You know what I mean? It's in terms of seeking that bag, monetary wealth. You know what I'm saying? That's not where real wealth lies. Period. You know what I mean? I wish I had the scriptures tapped in, but I know they highlighted in my book.
Recently stirring controversy on Fox Sports when he said he personally doesn't see racism because so many of his fans are white.
I thought that was clearly a message that there was no such.
That's clearly a one-dimensional, two-dimensional way of looking at things. I mean, when you pay to walk around with a 350+ pound bodyguard and things of that nature, you don't see racism. You know what I mean? And plus, boy, you've been famous since you was legally an adult. So, of course you don't.
Such thing as racism.
There was a lot of backlash from people about that. Would you change it, what you said, or you still feel the same way? What's your thought on Black Lives Matter?
What is it? What do you mean?
The idea is that there's this movement.
Exactly. What is it? What do you mean? Again, brothers, like when you subjugate yourself to being so-called black or African American, you know what I'm saying? That's you have identity issues. You don't understand your culture. You don't know where you come from. You don't know where your culture lies, where your true history is. You know what I mean? You have that slave mentality, and that's what black and white creates. Division, you know what I mean? That duality. And once you start tapping into the scriptures and understanding how the wicked work and what type of tactics they use to how do I say this? Infiltrate the psyche and the minds of the so-called black male, and how they tend to try and demasculate you, and have our so-called black women demasculating men as well. You know, all these women run around, niggas ain't shit and all this other bull. Like that's an ideology that they've been gifted. You know what I'm saying? That coincides with the whole feminist bullshit, all that. You know what I mean? That's paying homage to the mother goddess, as my brother over at Chronicles of Judah says. And you know, I will admit I have not looked all into everything. I don't fact check everything brother says, simply because I genuinely believe brother is not here to lead me astray. And everything I have fact checked has come up right on point. You know what I mean? He may have been off a little here, you know what I mean? But he typically go ahead and acknowledges that he would say something like, "You brothers can correct me if I'm wrong, but or you brothers can look it up." Things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? It's not like everything he says, and for the most part, everything that I have to say, it can hold up to scrutiny, because the truth fears no investigation, period. So, you know what I'm saying? Fact check everything I gotta say, and don't go with your one-sided, one-dimensional ass researching, where you go to the source of the information and then you just perceive what they have to say on it. Like, come on. You got to see multiple angles. You got to be multi-dimensional here. See, I've spent a lot of time understanding the psyche of our captors. You know what I'm saying? What the mentality that these people have, and why they have visceral hate for the so-called black man. And I've come to realize, you know, they don't even understand it to a degree. It's taught within the communities, within their culture. See, that's another thing, brothers. The so-called black man is the only people that does not have a culture. We have no real identity to a culture. Your so-called Hispanics, your so-called Middle Eastern, like, you know, Muslims, if you will, or Arabs. Your so-called, you know, Dominicans, that's part of like the Hispanics, but you know, even the subjects of that demographic, if you will, all have deep roots with their culture. You know what I mean? They have culture. But the so-called black man, you know what I mean, niggas is clinging on to chitlins and soul food and rap music and shit. It's ignorant. You know what I'm saying? You're clinging on to pig feet. It's, come on. It's not something to be prideful. You know what I'm saying? And not to mention, you shouldn't be prideful in that, period. Slave food, scraps. They gift you your history. They gift you your culture, or tell you what your culture is. You know what I mean? Brothers don't know and learn to find out what their culture is.
Called Black Lives Matter, thinking that the rest of America didn't seem to understand that Black Lives.
Because, you know what I'm saying? Like, in this society, and how the society, the base structure of it, the ideologies that it's built upon, are primarily white supremacist values. You feel me? They're creating this black and white duality and perception. You know what I'm saying? Black is a shade. Like, I know there's some dark brothers out there, but seriously, black, no. We're multiple variations of brown, clearly. But again, you know what I mean? That goes with that duality, how they depict, you know, like a dark side and a light side and things of that nature. You know, white is typically always like holy and things of that nature. Black is typically the devil or Lucifer or demons and you know what I mean? Lower levels of thinking, which is why they instilled the whole the race bait shit with the whole creating a human race and all that other bullshit. We're not a human race. We are a species. Races were created by the so-called white man to impose white supremacy, white superiority, to show that they were above all, because they got their witchcraft and their little demonic tactics, and they fully believe in them.
Lives matter.
It just sounds weird. I didn't know that you put a name on. It's not a name. It's not whatever. It's somebody got shot by police and for up reason.
Hey, he makes a point. It really does. You know what I'm saying? It's you can't sit here and put a hashtag on something. It's a real problem. You know what I mean? And hashtags aren't going to address real problems. Real problems have to be addressed first within the individual, second within the home, and probably third within the community. You know what I'm saying? Like, simply as that. And most people are so prideful and don't want to admit that they're wrong and wicked in the nature of their ways and how they choose to conduct themselves. You know what I mean? You're not going to want to admit to being part of witchcraft or Luciferian practices in churches and shit. Like, come on. Nobody wants to admit to that, but you got to understand that you've been subjected to that. You've been fooled. We all have, brothers. There's not a single person on the face of this earth that hasn't been fooled in one way, shape, or form. But the so-called black man is the recipient of the most lies, which is why I'm addressing this, which is why I'm addressing you specifically. But you can't hashtags it, you know what I mean? You got to address it within you, brothers. You have to wake up and see with all your eyes. And, you know what I'm saying, more eyes than you even think you have now. There's things you need to tap into and gain a greater understanding and ability to discern and decipher what's fact, what's fiction, what's truth, what's lies. I don't believe everything I hear, but when I hear truth, because I've exposed myself to so much truth, I know what truth is. And if it doesn't sound truthful, then it needs investigation. Like I said, the truth fears no investigation. So if it's out there and it's truthful, it's gonna be out there. But you gotta pile through the data and the you know what I mean. You gotta spend some time. But if you really want that truth, brother, you're gonna do it, 'cause that's what it's about. I sit here and watch hour-long videos, you know what I mean, on occasion, or I'll listen to it as I'm doing something, as I'm cleaning up or working on some artwork. You know what I'm saying? That's how I entertain myself. I'm not all about this having you know what I mean, having women to entertain me and all that other extra stuff, brother. Like, you gotta be real choosy with these women. Period. Agents of chaos.
I'm a young, black, rich.
Yeah, rich. You know what I'm saying? That's all is being promoted right now. Money. It's all about money. This whole country is about money. It's hard to get people's time if there isn't truly a monetary value exchange within that interaction, and that's sad. That shows a true disconnect.
If that don't let you know that America understand black matter these days, I don't know what it is. Don't come at me with that dumb man.
I'm rich, so if that doesn't show that black people matter, that's okay.
My life matter, especially to my.
Do you separate yourself from it?
Especially to my bitch. Pretty sure that's what he said. You see how, like, hypocritical the things brother's saying? especially in terms of right and wrong.
I don't feel connected to a damn thing that ain't got nothing to do with me. If you
Exactly, self-worship. Self-worship.
you do you crazy, you connected to this flag right. As I'm connected, I'm a gangbanger, man.
I'm just gonna come with this shit. I forgot about that. That was why this was so popular. I'm a gangbanger.
I'm connected.
He ended our interview angrily. Lil Wayne is in the business of making music, not apologies. For Nightline, I'm Lindsay Davis in New York.
Really?
You know, I wonder why he truly got angry. Not necessarily, but oh shit. Oh, I did want to do like I just wanted to share a little bit with you brothers out there. You know what I mean? Like, I personally, I appreciate the personal touch certain brothers and just people in general add to genuine acts of of love. You know what I'm saying? Because love is genuine. You know what I mean? When it's genuine, it's genuine. But nonetheless, like, you could just take a look. There's a lot of like music. I listen to ignorant music, but it's just pure entertainment. I don't take heed to the lyrics. I don't let them decipher my way of thinking. I don't let them be the motivation for me to get the bag and all that other shit that you ignorant brothers be on. This CNN shit only popped up because I did all this Putin shit because I Google News, you know what I'm saying, and it's all up there, but I'm not interested in that stuff. I got my stuff tailored to me, brothers, you know what I'm saying. Here's my subscriptions. Yes, I do follow So-Called White Man because I'm very interested in videography, because I understand that's how a lot of spells have been cast upon the so-called black man and the so-called black community through this black mirror, you feel me? And yeah, but I want to learn how to do so and target emotions so that I can make more powerful videos with shorter spans to keep up with this short attention span generation, you know what I mean, to where I can drop knowledge concisely, clearly, quickly for the simpletons and the short attention spans of the so-called black community right now, because ignorant, period. But yeah, you know, I got a lot of stuff on here. I subscribe to little channels on up to big channels, you know what I'm saying? I try and keep my stuff very selective. I don't like to entertain bullshit, chaos promoting, fear mongering, things of that nature. All these things is purely beneficial and entertainment. I don't subjugate myself to sports and all these fascist, corrupt ass institutions. I don't, you know what I mean? I like to play basketball. I'm not into watching it. But yeah, I just wanted to show it ain't really nothing too special. I did want to give myself a little self promo. I am an artist. This is how I make my living at this time. I don't want to work. I don't want to be a debt slave. I don't want to be making another man, another person rich. I don't want to make myself rich. I want to live, and I want to live well. But you know, you can go to my thing. It's here. You know what I'm saying? It's all public too. You don't have to follow if you don't want to. It's just public. I ain't got nothing to hide. Period. It's right there. Eside _Emperor. I may have to update that, but it works for now. I don't get too heavy into titles and things of that nature and phonetics. Simply because this ain't even the native tongue we should be speaking, brothers. But that's a topic for another day that I'm not even versed on myself. So, but yes, sir. I am out. In stream.